Hello and welcome to this release video for DaluxFM 2022.3. In this video I will present the newest features for both app and web. Looking at some of the headlines, starting with the mobile. You no longer need to remember the customer ID when logging in. Now you just have to type in your email and password, and from there select the instance that you want to log into. We have also added multi-option fields, meaning that you can now select more than one value. In O&M, we now also have a new filter bar in the work order list, and we have also added conditional fields to the checklist. In BIM&Documentation, you can now also view your lots on the mobile. On the web, we have made it possible to customize your dashboard and save them. In the Helpdesk, the user can now select whatever language they want to. And in O&M, we have now also made it possible to limit a specific team to a specific checklist. And also now you can print the checklist. The final headline here is also that we now have a new REST API for tickets or Helpdesk. In the following video, I will be presenting every feature on the list, which you will also be able to find in the newsletter. When opening up the new app, the first thing you have to do is no longer to type in your customer ID or name. Instead, you have to write in your email and password. When you have typed in the email and password, you can then move on. And from here, you can select the instance that you want to log into. When logged in, you can also go to More. And from here, you can switch to another instance. For users with multiple instances, this should be an easier way to navigate between the different logins, as you only have to remember your email and password and can then select the customer ID or name. Another new feature is that you can now create multi-option properties. Whether you do it down here in user fields or you do it directly on your asset, you can now click on properties, click add, and then select the new field type called multi-selector. In here you can define the different values that you would like to add, meaning that you will end up with a user field where you can select either one or multiple values. When you have created the new property and connected it to a specific classification, we can now go to our asset, in this case a laptop. Down here in the bottom we can now see the new user field, meaning that when we click up here, we can go in and we can edit. When we click on it, we can now select multiple values depending on what we want to have. In this case, we can define what extra equipment has been given with the laptop. So that would be a keyboard and a laptop bag. We can save it, and that would now be visible data on my asset. The same feature will also be available on web. For the checklist, we have added conditional fields. So whether you want to create a new checklist or you want to update an existing, you can now add a condition to the different properties you have set up. In this example here, I have the headline, doorway is clear of any obstacle, and I have defined that if I choose no, then I have to further describe the issue and include a picture. Going to the mobile and opening up a work order, we can go down to the checklist. When we open up the checklist, we will have the settings that we set up before. So in this case, is the doorway clear of any obstacle? If I select yes, I don't have to do any more. But if I do select no, we will then activate the condition that we saw before. So in this case, I would have to describe the issue further and include a picture. In that way, we can get more exact information when we come across issues in the checklist. And again, this feature will also be available on the web. In the work order module, we have made a new filter bar. So when clicking, for example, on all team work orders, up in the top here, you will see that we now have some predefined filters that you can choose from. Go over here and take, for example, work order type. I can click and I can say that I only want to see the preventive maintenance. That will create a filter, and from here I can find my work order. Clicking on the filter again, I can remove it and go back to the overall view. We'll still have the old filter option up here, where you can, for example, choose to look at the GPS estate of building, and you can again apply and also reset. In the location module, we have also added some new features. First of all, we have created a new dialog. So when clicking up here, you will have a little overview down here where you can go from the standard map to the satellite map, or you can also go to the list view. A new thing is that now you can also access your lots on the mobile. So when clicking down here, we will activate the lot view, and you can of course click on the lot, select it and open it up. In here you will have access to the basic information about the lot, but also the documentation. So when clicking here, I can access the files that I have on my lot. On DaluxFM for the web solution, we have now made it possible to create custom dashboards, meaning that instead of using the old standard dashboard, you can now create your own. By clicking up here, you can create as many dashboards as you want to. You can do that based on assets, tickets, or work orders. So by choosing one of the objects up here, selecting the amount of panels that you want, you can then create it and start to define what data you want to have and also how you want to view it. We have made some predefined views, so it could be a pie chart, a graph, it can also be a timeline, and we also have a counter and the more classic list view. So depending on what data you want to see and how you want to see it, you can now make a specific dashboard for whatever purpose you might have. In my example here, I have made it for work orders, meaning that I now can see my work orders per type. I can see the upcoming cost per building. I can also see my work orders based on the priority. If at any point I want to edit, I can always go up here. I can both change the data that I'm viewing. I can also change the headline of the specific panels, and I can also change the overall headline. Every time I make a change, I can save it, or I can cancel, or if needed, I can always go up here and delete my dashboard. In the last couple of releases, we have tried to clean up the menu out here. We have done that by merging modules or placing them in new locations. What you will see in this release is that you no longer have access to the user administration down here. That is because we have moved it down to settings. So when clicking here, I now have my user administration up here. The functionality is still the same, meaning that I have my users, user roles, and my user regions. When clicking, I will still have an overview of the different users, and I can also create new. The same goes for also the roles and the regions. In the Helpdesk portal, we have now made it possible for the user to select the language that they prefer. Right now I have it in English, therefore log in, but as you can see here, if I go to, for example, German, the language will change. The language that you choose here will also follow along when you're logged in. So if we do it in German, my Helpdesk portal will be in German. Predefined text like the one I have up here will not change unless you do it yourself. But the feature buttons down here, as you can see, will be in whatever language I prefer. In operation and maintenance, you can now limit a specific team to a specific checklist or a set of checklists. Going up here to my teams, I can choose the team that I want to limit. Viewing down here, we now have the checklist template accessibility. Right now, the team 2 have access to all my checklist templates, but if I click here, I can now set them a limitation. Choosing this one, I can then access the overview of my different checklist, and I can define if this was, for example, a fire team, that they have access to my fire door inspections, my fire safety equipment, and my smoke detectors. By saving this limitation means that the next time Team 2 logs in and they have to choose a checklist, they will only have access to these defined checklists. Another new feature regarding the checklist is that we can now print them. So going into a checklist overview and selecting a specific checklist, you can now click up here and create a print. In here we can include images, documents, work orders, and help text. Clicking down here, we will prepare a print with the included data of the checklist. When the print is ready, we can then open it up and we can view all the information that has been added to the checklist. In the list view, we have also tried to make it easier for you to navigate from work order to work order, or asset or ticket. When you open up a work order, or again an asset or a ticket, we have added the small arrows here, meaning that you can now jump from one object to another. With this, we hope to make it a little bit easier if you have to go through a lot of information in one time. The last feature that I want to show is regarding the Excel import and export. We have a lot of customers who want to manage a lot of data at the same time, and using our Excel import and export is a great tool for that. What we have done now is we try to make it more clear what you are changing. So in the example here, I have my 2 work orders. And in the green column here, we can see the value that I have changed to. And over here, we can see the value that I changed it from. So I have renamed it from replace door to replace door exterior. So with this new feature, it would be easier for you to actually overview what you're doing with the data before you import it into Dalux. Right now, it will be available for work orders and for buildings. Thank you for watching this release video for DaluxFM 2022.3. We hope you will enjoy the new features, and like always, if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to contact us at support@dalux.com. Thank you.